This is a look at Briar Creek, headed over Independence right now. As you can see, absolutely no definition in any of the lanes. I'm just kind of following where it looks like the road has had some travel at some point, but no idea if that's actually a lane that I'm in. And here we are coming to the intersection. A couple of folks braving the weather and another vehicle coming up to me. Hope they have four-wheel drive there. Here we are on Independence Boulevard, reduced to one practical lane. It appears there may be people who try to pass, but as you can tell, worn down into one lane of mostly sustainable driving here. And getting past on the left here, a vehicle that apparently thinks we're going too slowly. And a look at its snow plow. Catching a little bit of snow off the road there. Examples of why police want you to stay off the roads, if at all possible. Emergency personnel finding vehicles that can't make it through the snow on Independence Boulevard. One of the city vehicles turning around in the middle of Independence. Apparently they are working on cleaning things up. You can see in front of me here, have a scraper, and your eyes are not deceiving you. They are moving backwards, apparently going to back up and re-scrape some areas of the road. So DOT is out doing its job. Too icy there for you to see much more. And having just come off Independence onto the 277 loop, you can see some continued issues. We have vehicles that simply had to stop in their tracks and can't make it any further. Have someone in a four-wheel drive, small four-wheel drive, trying to help out. It's these kinds of conditions that officials are warning us about and want people who can stay inside to stay inside. We're headed up 277 as we've crested the hill, having some issues with vehicles not having the power to make it. Rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, just spinning wheels as they're trying to move forward. Can't get through these conditions. On I-77 northbound, your guess is as good as anybody else's when it comes to lanes. There's absolutely nothing that you can see as far as the street goes. People are, I suppose, trying to be polite and taking their best guess as to where they should be driving. As you can see, coming up to the warning sign here that gives you traffic updates, winter storm warning through Thursday. Icy conditions, use extreme caution. Thing to notice, I'm on 77 northbound. You can feel some of the slush and ice slipping, even in a four-wheel drive, or feel fairly safe driving. You can feel things slip away from you every once in a while. Highly recommend not to drive if you do not have to. On W.T. Harris Boulevard, the North Lake and University area, very, very little activity on the road. Now seeing one or two cars that are trying to transverse it. Look at that, it's a pizza delivery. So while much of Charlotte is shut down, there are still some businesses trying to bank on the snow. And here we are behind a snowplow in the North Lake area of Charlotte. While he has snow flying off to the side, it doesn't appear to be doing a whole lot for the roads. Looks to be putting down some slag or sand behind him as well. But these groups are going to have their work cut out for them with the snowfall and sleet. I think you may be able to hear some of the pellets that are coming down. This is not going to be an easy fix on our roads. Here's a look at uptown Charlotte coming in past North Carolina Music Factory Boulevard. You can barely make out the skyscrapers in uptown here, shrouded in fog with precipitation still coming down. Road a little bit better here. These have been treated well, but still covered up with ice and slush at this point. More from 4th Ward in uptown Charlotte. Road's not terribly bad on the main drags, but as I look down on both sides of me and look into parking lots such as that, have not been touched, probably will not be touched immediately, as these are secondary and even tertiary roads. Look at that one, absolutely untouched. So driving in uptown looks to be bearable, but most people are getting out of here. Up next to the BB&T ballpark, home of the Charlotte Knights, covered in snow. Nobody going to be playing any games there anytime soon. One of the people keeping the sidewalks clean uptown, scraping the sidewalk, doing the best they can. Looks like I've caught him at where he's headed to a new destination. And on Idlewild Road right now, I actually crossed over into Rama Road right now, and this is really bad. It appears as though this has not been treated or scraped at all today. Very slow going. As you can see, I'm being very careful behind this car in front of me that is just moving about 15 miles an hour. But Rama Road, very, very snow covered. One of the kind of main secondary roads here in Charlotte. A little harder to see now, but still have crews out working, looking for cars that may be in jeopardy. And as I speak, there's one right there that ran up on the cement sidewalk. We're on Ray Road now, and this one is a little tougher to cross. Doesn't look like there've been any snow plows. Starting to get darker. You can see the ruts in the road, and actually I just started a little bit of a slide there, but definitely a little more difficult to get through. We're in the Derrida area, North Charlotte. You see the roads are covered here. There's been a little more traffic, and just as I say that, see someone trying to get up the hill, can't quite make it, and we pass a truck that has fallen off the road to the side. Coming up to a few people looking like they're trying to have fun in the street. Looks like there are a few people here trying to have some fun in the street, actually slipping, sliding a little bit, so maybe just as dangerous walking as it is out driving. We're on West Graham Street, headed towards Charlotte. Can't see anything of the skyline ahead of me. Traffic is moving fairly smoothly here. Not as much trouble with precipitation at this moment, though it's coming down, but it doesn't seem to be causing as much of a problem, icing up the window. But as you can see, the road's just as covered as any place else in Charlotte that I've seen. Very difficult to tell where you're supposed to be on the street. And this is Tryon in uptown Charlotte. You can see well traveled, still receiving a lot of ice, but actually not too bad to travel at all right now. which is about 5:30 in the afternoon. And here we go with the snow plow coming down the street. This is on 7th Street. Show him pushing the snow. He may actually be waiting for me, but I'm not going to go. I'm waiting for him. Shit. Oh, I can't. Here at the intersection of Trade and Tryon, traffic is not bad. The road's not too terribly bad either, but this being the absolute center of town, Trade and Tryon seems to be moving fairly smoothly. On Valentine Commons Parkway right now, which is suffering a bit. It has been treated, but it appears as though it's getting worse as far as conditions go as we get into the night, and we're still getting sleet or freezing rain coming down. Here we are going over the highway. You can see slow go there as well. Back to Valentine Commons. Being very, very careful here. Turned into Providence Town subdivision just to see what conditions are off the main roads, and this is not too terribly bad. As you can see, these roads, there we go, as you can see, these roads have not had a lot of attention, but in a four-wheel drive I'm able to get through without much trouble. Right lane closed. Be alert. Some of that existed here in the Valentine area before the snow, but certainly more meaningful now to be alert. You can see there are still cars out on the road that are trying to transverse this difficult roadway. And we see the light rail is still running over to the left of the screen here. This is South Boulevard. I'm headed north on it towards town. Completely covered. Passed a group just a moment ago having some trouble, could not get up the hill coming from 485. That takes a dip down and then back up. They're having significant trouble making that grade. And you see the light rail service moving without any trouble, unlike vehicles on the road here, which are all having some difficulty. On Providence Road, headed south, things are fairly decent on Providence. I'm running into a patch of roughness right now. The road has been treated fairly well. You can see not a lot of other traffic on the road. Not in front of me. There are a few cars behind me, but fairly smooth down here. This is South Boulevard as we head in a little bit closer to Uptown. Just crossed over Archdale, and while it It's relatively easy to get across. That's because most of this is just snow. It does not appear as though the road has been scraped. So it may be that this has not yet had the worst of it, but South Boulevard here, as we're headed into